Joining us now with their reaction is this evening's political panel, Jim Kessler, Democratic strategist and Executive Vice President for Policy at Third Way, alongside Republican strategist Ashley Davis, partner at S3 Group. Thank you all for being with us. Let's start with that stock ban. What do you think? Does it go? This is one that they're going to have to explain the vote.
Yeah, they're going to have to. Look, there needs to be a stock ban. There has been, close to day trading with members of Congress using inside information and making huge profits for it. I think Democrats have a point here that when you're in Congress, your money should be in a mutual fund or something like that, because you can make a lot of money, you know things in advance, you can help your own stock. So I think this is a good step. I wish they went a little further.
Well, just like in the administration, if you have a job there and have to get Senate confirmed, you have to go put your assets into a blind trust. So it should kind of be the same for Congress. The only problem I have with the Democrats voting against it, this issue's been hanging out there for a long time, at least talked about even more this past 2025, last year. But at least it's a step forward. I still don't know if this bill as is would pass the Senate, and I don't know if Thune will bring it up. But if the Democrats vote against it when it comes to the whole floor, then it's like they don't have anything unless you guys win the House in November.
We're going to go out to Joe in just a moment at the Capitol. Oh, Joe, Joe's here now. Joe, go ahead. Joe, go ahead.
Well, I'm just curious what everybody thinks about Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez calling this a scam bill. Jim Kessler, there's a competing bit of legislation that would not allow lawmakers to bring their investments. They'd have to divest everything before coming to Congress. I guess the question is, could that pass?
Yeah, I think calling this a scam bill goes too far. I do think it is a step forward. It is not as far as Democrats want to go. And look, Democrats have been making the case in the last year that this administration is corrupt and does a lot of, under the table dealing, particularly the Trump administration and, crypto and other places. So this is part of a theme that they want to bring into the midterms. But I do think this bill makes progress, but it doesn't go as far as it should go.
Mm-hmm. What do you Ashley, think? Would that?
I don't think the other bill would pass the House or the Senate. So again, it goes back to the AOC.
Does the more draconian bill keep good lawmakers from working in Congress? Would that actually prevent talent from coming up here to Capitol Hill if they had to divest?
I think it would hurt. I mean, I know, again, when you are in an administration, no matter who you're in, you have to put all of your assets in a blind trust. You potentially lose a ton of money. I mean, this is why you're serving your country. That's what people think about. If you're coming to Congress to serve for 10 years or 20 years, that's a whole different situation. But listen, I 100% agree on the bill. I think what the bill today was doing was try to make sure that this other extreme bill didn't get more momentum.
In the short time we have left, I'm going to refer to an interview that Joe did a short time ago with Tom Tillis on Capitol Hill. And again, a very loaded question for the short time we have left. But Tillis said he does not believe that there is support for taking Greenland in Congress. I want to know what both of your opinions are.
This is such a horrible idea. I hope there isn't support in Congress for taking Greenland. You have a NATO country, Denmark, sending military assets to Greenland to protect against an attack from the United States. What are we doing? How does this end? It is a bad idea. I hope Tillis is right.
I actually think that this is rhetoric and a negotiating tactic. Obviously, I don't necessarily agree with the negotiating tactic, but we all know for the last 5 years that we've watched the president be president, or, we had a little break in there, this is how he is. I do not think we are going to attack Greenland. We're not going to take over Greenland. I do think that from a national security perspective, the amount of submarines that are from Russia and China that are now surrounding, and even more so, the waters around Greenland. I'm sorry, I keep saying Iceland because of our earlier conversation. But also,
it's not the first time it's happened today.
Because of the Golden Dome and the missile defense of that area with China and Russia. It is a strategic national security move, but we've been talking about for actually 100 years. Do I agree we should attack them? No. Do we agree we should take over? No. But I do think we get to some point where do they continue to be independent, or do they be completely independent, but we subsidize their national security and some of their financial security? And remember, we're talking about 57,000 people. There's also been cash offerings, which I don't think will work.
Right. And look, there's a treaty that was signed in 1951. It allows America to do 98% of what Donald Trump wants to do without taking over the country. Once you take over the country, that is now your new frontier that you have to defend with American troops forever. This is how empires end. You overextend. Greenland, besides ending NATO, would be an overextension of the American empire.
I would rather have
Well, we're going to be following the bead on
Greenland than Russia and China. Sorry, Joe.
We'll be following the bead, guys, on war powers from up here. Is something that we're talking to lawmakers about on both sides of the aisle. Jim Kessler and Ashley Davis. I wish I were there with you.